Dirt Trax exclusive.
What's up, Dirt Trax Nation? Luke here, bringing you what is my first walk-around video of the 2025 season. I'm super excited about this. We got so much amazing content this year coming up. We've got the most incredible long list of vehicles to show you guys that we've ever had before on the show, so you're going to want to stay tuned. Before I go any further though, why don't you smash that like button if you like this video. Definitely subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss anything. We got lots of, as I said, tons of stuff coming up. And turn the bell on, so as soon as we update new videos on YouTube here, you guys will get notifications and you won't miss anything. So, with that out of the way, let's talk about the 2025 Wolverine RMAX. This is the SE model. Now, I have to preface this by saying that this is a Canadian model. Yamaha has different naming structures for the Canadian and US side-by-sides, particularly in the RMAX lineup. But what does SE mean? Well, first of all, we'll talk about what the Wolverine just is as a base unit, and then we'll talk about what you get with SE. So, obviously, we've tested a lot of Wolverines. I've been on numerous trips all around North America riding Wolverines, RMAXs, and I absolutely love this unit. Basically, this is a two-seat model. You got 14.2 inches of travel up front, 16.9 inches of travel out back, which is major class-leading travel for the 64-inch wide, 1000cc, 100 horsepower sport utility side-by-side, the ones that are heavily influenced by sport. You've got your General and your Commander are the two closest competitors to this vehicle, price-wise, specs-wise. Those are very, very close. They both have 14 inches of rear travel. This has 16.9, almost 17 inches. So incredible rear end travel. The RMAX has arched A-arms front and rear. All models are either QS3 equipped or higher. The QS3s are the lowest spec shock you can get on an RMAX model. This one has them. When I say low end, I don't mean low end. I mean they're awesome shocks, but they don't make an RMAX with anything less quality than QS3s, which is just fantastic. Basically, if you're getting an RMAX, you know you're getting top line suspension. Obviously, you know, you got 4x4 diff lock, front and rear diff lock, so you can have turf mode, 2x4, 4x4. This model, all models have power steering. I don't know if all of them have 3-position power steering, but this one does. We'll talk about it later. So basically that's an RMAX. You got a dumping cargo box that can haul 600 pounds across all models, tow 2,000 pounds from a 2-inch hitch receiver across all models. Yeah, so that's the RMAX, you know, two-seater, slightly more upright seating than a sport side-by-side, say a YXZ, but definitely more relaxed than like a Viking. Lots of room inside. Yamaha's done a great job with this thing. So let's talk about some of the features. First of all, full doors, half doors, sorry. But these are really, really nice doors, finished on the inside and out. A good latch. I will say one thing that annoys me is there's no latch on the outside. That kind of bugs me. You have to reach inside to undo the door. It's something, if you own it, you're just going to get used to it. It's not going to be a big deal. But truthfully, I think that today, with the technology that we've got and how far advanced our side-by-sides have gotten, putting a latch on the outside of the door, just do it. It just makes sense. But again, this one does latch really nice and tight, and the latch works really good. It's very positive, so I'm not going to complain too much about that. I do really love how the inside of the door is finished. That's super cool. One thing Yamaha does with RMAX that really nobody else is doing is they put little soft pads inside where your knees are likely to contact the door and the center console. They call them soft touch points. And basically when you're ripping down the trail or you're just trail riding, whatever you're doing, and your knees are resting against the vehicle on either side, maybe you're bracing yourself in corners, it's not just hard plastic, it's a soft rubberized spot for your knees to bump into. And it honestly makes a huge difference. It's a great idea, and big ups to Yamaha for doing that. The RMAX has an adjustable driver's seat. All models have tilting steering column. They all come with the little gauge in the steering column that tilts with the wheel. It has all the information you're going to need. It's a good gauge. It's small, but because it's so close to the steering wheel, it doesn't really look small, I guess. It's not really far away from you, and it has a ton of information, you know, everything you're going to need. So you don't need to worry about whether or not you have some extra gauge features in there, which we'll talk about again in a minute. Yeah, center console with storage. You got a glove box on the far side, toolless adjustable passenger grab handle, which is really, really cool. Though the grab handle does rattle a little bit, the adjuster system allows for a little bit of movement, so it does rattle just a tiny bit, but that's not a huge deal. What else? You got USB outlets, high-low transmission. Obviously, the RMAX has Yamaha's Ultramatic CVT transmission, and just a quick rundown on what that means is that where most other CVTs, when they are at idle, the belt is disengaged, so the actual rubber drive belt is not spinning, it is sitting stationary. The primary clutch is spinning, and then when you hit the throttle and RPMs rise, the primary clutch, the weights in the primary clutch cause it to bite into the belt, grab the belt, and then start spinning both clutches. In this case, the clutches are both constantly engaging the belt at all times, so the belt is always spinning. There's never a chance where it's not. When you are at idle, there is a kind of like a chainsaw slipper, like centrifugal clutch in there. It's a wet centrifugal clutch that is disengaged. Hit the throttle, the centrifugal clutch, obviously centrifugal weight, throws the dogs out, picks up the transmission, and then that belt that has been spinning the whole time is now engaged to the rest of the driveline. What does this do? Why is this important? Well, if you're not constantly slipping that belt, then you're not wearing the belt. So when you get into a situation with a normal CVT and you come up to like a rock ledge or something really steep or some really high traction situation, and you don't put it in low range, the transmission is constantly slipping on the belt because it actually is designed to disengage and release the belt at times. Ultramatic doesn't have that problem. You can attack stuff in high range on an Ultramatic equipped side-by-side or ATV that you would never attempt on any other type. So it's really good for belt durability. So good, in fact, that Yamaha offers a 10-year belt warranty on vehicles equipped with Ultramatic transmissions. That's staggering, that's amazing. So anyway, I just wanted to cover that because it's really important. It's a very special thing about Yamaha vehicles, about this RMAX, and it really sets it apart from everybody else in terms of just simple usability. When you're riding on the trail, you don't have to constantly shift high to low, high to low. Just drive it, it's gonna be fine. Even Yamaha says just drive it, so if they say it, you're good to go. What else can we talk about here? I mean, we talked about the cargo bed. It's got a single-handed tailgate, which is really, really cool. These shoulder bolsters here are standard on all models. I used to hate these. I don't hate them anymore. I don't know, they changed them a little bit in the last couple seasons. They've moved them outwards a bit more. So when you're riding the RMAX, I no longer feel like my shoulder is constantly being pushed inwards. I feel like even a guy with broad shoulders like me, I can sit with my whole body relaxed and I'm touching the shoulder bolsters. The only time I do touch them is when I go through a corner, in which case they're a really nice thing to kind of let your body lean against, not having to always hold your body up. So they've gone from something I absolutely hated to something I actually really like now about the RMAX. They don't impede getting in and out very much. They used to be a lot worse for that, but now, you know, as long as you kind of just get in around them, they don't really stop you from being able to get in and out the way they used to as well. So that's pretty cool. Let's see, what else can we talk about? I guess we'll have to move on to talking about what is an SE, because we've covered basically what the RMAX is at this point. So what do you get with an SE? Well, first of all, you get 14-inch aluminum beadlock wheels. On the SE model, they are wrapped in 30-inch carnivore tires, Maxxis Carnivores, which is really cool. They're a great tire. It is a square setup front and rear. So if you do want a spare, you only need one spare. It fits everywhere on the vehicle. Really smart on Yamaha's part. Beadlock wheels look great. I mean, the color matching to the vehicle, they're just a really great looking wheel, and they're a good quality wheel too. So you really don't need to go to aftermarket wheels on this thing because you've already got 30-inch carnivores on aluminum beadlocks. What are you gonna buy that's better than that, right? Pretty much nothing. Moving on, you do get this kind of upgraded paint color. So painted plastics that look really, really slick. The base models are just molded colored plastics with graphics. These are actually painted plastics, which is really nice. You get the roof, you get the rear view mirror. Let me think more about this. Okay, so, I mean, obviously you get the winch. It's a 4,500 pound Warren winch, which is awesome. Has a dash mounted switch. So that comes with the SE package. Before I get to the big news, let me see what else. You get tri-mode EPS, which is, again, I don't know if that's standard on all models. I didn't do that much research, and the Canadian website honestly is kind of not that great for RMAX to find out what features each model actually has. It's hard to find out. You also get D modes on the SE model. So it is the first model in their lineup to get D mode. What is D mode? Essentially, it's just a fancy way of saying that it has 3 throttle modes. Other people use a switch. Yamaha uses a D mode dial. The 3 modes are crawl, trail, and sport. So crawl is kind of like work mode. It's very mellow, like boring mellow. But when you're trying to crawl through rocks, when you're in tight situations, it's perfect. Filters out all the movement of your foot, smooths that right out so you can crawl with precision. Works excellent. It's a great mode for that, though you're never going to trail ride in it because it is really mellow. Then you have trail, and it is where you're going to spend all your time. Trail is tuned just right. You get full throttle. It ramps up the throttle relatively fast, but it still maintains a very smooth throttle profile. So when you're in the bumps, it's not being jerky. Your initial throttle tip-in is fairly mellow, and then the throttle curve ramps up very mellow, which is nice. So it's controllable. It's smooth. You're not going to be jerking your passenger all over the place, driving them crazy. Then you go to the sport mode. Yeah, it is called sport mode. And it is, in my opinion, way too aggressive. Your initial throttle tip-in is like this, and then all throttle inputs from then on are just abrupt and straight up the power curve. And even when you're trying, like even on a smooth surface, you'll find that it's very, very jerky. Unless you're gonna be full throttle, like unless you're rallying this thing on a fast road, I just don't think sport mode is tuned properly for this kind of vehicle, which is why I spend all my time in trail. So anyway, that's D modes. Again, this is the first model in the hierarchy of RMAX models that comes with it. Let's just quickly go over the hierarchy of RMAX models because it's kind of interesting. You have the Wolverine RMAX R-Spec. Now I would think an R-Spec would be like high end, but for Yamaha, R-Spec means base model. Again, it comes with QS3s. It has different tires, different wheels, different graphics, doesn't have D mode, doesn't have a winch, doesn't have a roof. Then you move up to the Sport, and the Sport comes with high-low speed compression and rebound adjustable shocks. It gets beadlock wheels, it gets the 30-inch carnivores, gets the roof, doesn't have D modes, doesn't have anything else in the dash. So it's kind of like, it's designed to be the sporty one, like if you're gonna be running the desert really fast. My opinion, it works just fine, but you don't need that adjustment in the shocks. The QS3s work just fine for anywhere I've tried to put them. Rebound would be a nice feature to have on any shock, so that is a big benefit. But in terms of like price, the Sport and the SE are the same price. So what you're trading off with the Sport, you get the high-end shocks, the higher end of shocks. Then you move up to the SE and you get, in Canada for the first time, again, we gotta remember this is a Canadian model, you get the Adventure Pro system in the dash. It's the first time in Canada we've been given it. This is I don't mean this, but this is the lowest end model you can get Adventure Pro in. It's not a low end model, but yeah, so when you move up from the Sport, all you're really getting is fully adjustable shocks with rebound, and you're losing all the other things you get with the SE. So my opinion is, unless you're planning on pounding bumps full throttle all day, this is the package to have because they're the same price. So this is definitely the one you want to choose. Then you move up to the LE, and it has IQS Fox suspension, but you lose the beadlock wheels. So it has everything this has, but instead of QS3s, it has IQS adjustable on the dash, but it doesn't have beadlock wheels. It's a weird one. I don't know. There's some features there that just kind of don't add up to me. But this is the one I think people should buy. I think this is the right one. So I've already hinted, this has Adventure Pro in the dash. It's finally here in Canada. For all you Americans who are watching, who know about the RMAX, you're like, why is that a big deal? It's because we haven't been able to have Adventure Pro before. The reasoning behind that, I'll give you just a quick rundown, is that in the US, map databases, so trail map databases, not your base maps that show you topography, but the actual trails themselves have been available to companies to upload into their GPS systems and their side-by-sides. They're pretty much public, like you can get them anywhere, all manufacturers have them, it's not a problem to get. For some reason in Canada, it has been way harder for Yamaha to secure those map databases to add into their Adventure Pro so that you can have turn-by-turn, essentially, trail mapping on your screen. They still can't get them. We argued from day one that the Adventure Pro offers so many other features that even if it doesn't have map databases built in, give it to us anyway because of all the other things it does that we'll talk about in a minute. Yamaha was hesitant, but they've finally done that. They've given it to us. It does have base maps. It can track like a breadcrumb trail where you're going, and then you can follow that breadcrumb trail home. It can store routes, so if you ride trails regularly, it can store those trails so you can follow them again, but you can't go on in your local area and look up the trail that you're on. It's not gonna do that. It very well may in the future. It likely will in the future, but for now it doesn't. What does it do? Well, it does a lot of stuff. I mean, it gives you secondary gauges. So it gives you all kinds of extra information that you don't get in your main gauge display. It gives you excellent trip computer information, all kinds of stuff, kind of like your car, you know, like trip time, trip distance, just all kinds of extra stuff for your trip meter. It has a really good gauge display that shows things like what D mode you're in, what 4x4 mode you're in, what EPS level you're at. All of those things show on the screen. It has a cool 4x4 screen that shows a sort of graphic representation of your 4x4 with the wheels and everything. It shows you which diffs are locked and unlocked. That's a really cool one. It also shows your pitch and your yaw, so you can tell if you're on an angle or not. I don't use that for anything useful, but it is kind of cool to see sometimes when I'm on a really steep hill. I'm like, wow, this really is a really steep hill. So that's neat. It has all kinds of stuff in terms of like vehicle diagnostics for the dealer. If there's problems with your vehicle, you can go in there and you can kind of hunt some stuff down and get some answers. It also has user programmable pin locked geofencing. So you can actually go into the gauge and you can set a perimeter of where you want this vehicle to be usable. And if a person is driving it and they try and go outside of that perimeter, it shuts it down. So like if you have employees using it and you don't want them ripping around off a job site, you can just set your perimeter as the job site and they can't take it into town to McDonald's to get some food. So it's like really neat that that's built into this system. It's really, really useful. Obviously it has the standard stuff. It connects to Bluetooth so you can have your music on screen playing, like selected on screen. It can also show your phone information, connect to a headset. This model, the SE, also has door speakers, so it does have a stereo. They're MTX door speakers. They sound really good, controllable from the Adventure Pro. Previous Yamaha models in Canada that didn't have Adventure Pro but did have stereos just had the little MTX kind of control thing. It's really small. So this one, it's integrated into Adventure Pro. It works amazing. Adventure Pro is a touch screen. It's just what this thing should have had. It should have it. The other thing it does that is completely superficial, and when you see my test ride, you're gonna hear me say it again. Every time I got in a Canadian RMAX and looked at the dashboard, it was like, what is supposed to go in that spot? Obviously something is supposed to go there and it's not there. It's there. That's what was supposed to go there, was Adventure Pro. The hole is filled. It makes sense. The dash looks like it's meant to look. It looks great. So from a totally superficial standpoint, I really like it in the dash and it looks amazing. Where can we go from here? What else are we going to talk about? I mean, you get the roof. We talked about that. It does have a really nice rain channel inlet. This is something I've used before. A lot of roofs don't have that, so the water just drips right down onto your hands and your legs. This one has a good drip channel that directs the water away from you, so that's cool. Yeah, I mean, that's really what you're looking at here with the RMAX SE. It is a fantastic package. I think it represents a really good value. I've talked a little bit about this season, about what is value and what does value mean. I mean, value doesn't mean cheap. Value means that you are getting more for your money than you will get elsewhere. I think value has to be comparative. So when you look at this vehicle and what you're getting compared to its competition, you're getting a lot here for your money. For similar, the same money or less money than its competition, you're getting more. I think that in this class, this is a very valuable or represents a really good value in this class. So before you freak out and say, it's not cheap, it's not what I'm saying. It is in Canada, like, I wanna say it's like 33 grand all in, before tax with freight and PDI and stuff like that. I didn't look at the US pricing because this is a Canadian model. We've tested a lot of US models before, so you know, you guys can see those ones, but it's not a cheap side-by-side. Like, it's not cheap. But you know, you don't have to buy this one. There are other models you can buy. You can buy a Wolverine, you know, the regular Wolverine. It's less money than the RMAX. There's all kinds of other options out there for you if you don't want to spend the money to get this model. There's even a cheaper version of the RMAX. So before anybody freaks out about price and says the typical side-by-sides are getting so expensive these days, just stop with all that, okay? Like, you can go buy less expensive side-by-sides than this one. This one is a great value in its class, and that's not going to change because you complain about the price. That's my little pet peeve for the day. That's my PSA for the day. Take it or leave it. I don't care. So that's the RMAX, the 2025 Yamaha Wolverine RMAX SE. I love this thing. I spent some good time in it. I rode it fast, I rode it slow. I tested all the modes. I tested the 3 power steering modes. We went through the whole gamut of all the things that this thing does and really put it through its paces, and I've been nothing but impressed the whole time. I really like RMAXs. I never get bored of testing them, and this one is the best one I've had to test in Canada so far. So I think if you guys are shopping in that category, if this is what you're looking for, check out the RMAX, it's totally worth it. With all of that said, again, like, comment, subscribe. We try and read your comments. We do our best to respond to the ones that are worthy of responses, but we do appreciate the feedback. Hit the like button if you like this video, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Make sure to subscribe and comment below for real interaction with the Dirt Trax crew.